Greetings to one and all, and hello to everyone. So, on this episode, we are going to see about 10 sessions of how the reinforcement learning is working under that machine learning. Already we know the various parameters under the reinforcement learning. So, before that, we have to give a quick recap under the topic of that machine learning. So, when we are saying that machine learning, we are having varieties of learning methods. The number one, that is all you know, it's supervised learning. And number two is called semi-supervised learning. And number three is called unsupervised learning. And last one is called reinforcement learning. So, don't pronounce reinforcement learning, you should say reinforcement learning. So, in supervised learning, already we know various algorithms under the supervised learning. So, the parameter 1 is the supervised learning is working under the labeled data. So, in that labeled data, we are having varieties of that algorithm. Number one, linear regression algorithm. And then logistics regression algorithm when we have to be work with non-linear data. And apart from that, we are having another one variety of algorithm. It is called the support vector machine, and then Bayesian network theorem, that is the Bayesian net. We can able to classify and give that a prediction for the labeled data. And then number two is unsupervised machine learning algorithm. That unsupervised machine learning algorithm is working with that unlabeled data. Supervised is working under the labeled data, but unsupervised algorithm is working under unlabeled data. For unsupervised learning algorithm, we are having so many varieties of algorithms. So, when we are talking about unlabeled data, two things we can able to go, that is one is clustering, and another one is called, that is the classification. So, these two parameters comes under the category of that associativity, and another one method is called, that is that hierarchy. So, in classification kind of that algorithm, we may say that is k nearest neighbor algorithms. So, when we find out who are all that neighbors, we have to be determined that k. So, the k should be square root of that n. The value of that k should be the square root of that n. That means how many n we have to apply square root for that n. So, that value that should be fixed as a k. So, the k shouldn't be fixed as minimal. It may include noise when we have to be classify the data using that knn. So, we have to be make that appropriate k. The k, if we are taking that more high, that will leads to that issues of that bias, and it maybe leads to that more outliers also. So, we have to be carefully determine the value of that k when we have to be compute with that knn. And another one kind of algorithm, it is called that the k-means algorithm. So, the k-means we are having that clustering. So, already we know about, we have to be applying random centroids at the initial, and then we have to be put forth the data, the set of the data, which data that is comes under the category of the k1, and which data that is comes under the category of the k2. In case if I am chose value of the k equal to 2, that means if I took that 2 centroids, and afterwards I have to be compute with identification of the next new centroids by making the average with the least component value with the next listed value, and then this should be that cyclic until all the data that should be put into that appropriate cluster. And also in unsupervised learning, we may have to go with the dimensionality reduction, that's by the concept of the BSS. Either we have to go with the principal component analysis, or we may go with the linear discriminant analysis, or we may go with the independent component analysis. So, these are all the algorithms that has been covered up in that supervised and then unsupervised algorithm. In that last kind of variety in machine learning is called reinforcement algorithm. So, this reinforcement algorithm not having same unlabeled data, and also it's having open. That means the learning method has to train on itself to understand what is the present scenario is going on, what is the situation is going on, what the past history, what should it has to do. So everything that has to be determined by the reinforcement learning. So there is the varieties of the methods is there. The primary thing is that model based one and model free one. When we have to be imply the reinforcement algorithm in model based, that is little bit easy because we know what will be the goal and we can able to classify what are all the probabilities is there in order to complete that entire process. So this will somewhat easy when we have to be implement this reinforcement algorithm under the category of that model based learning. So when we have to be talk about that model free learning, that environment should learn by the reinforcement learning algorithm. So on the next episode we have to be see about how this reinforcement learning is working for that machine learning concepts.